Hello, magnificent parents. Today, in episode 3, we are diving deep into the topic of narcissism and its roots in parenting. Narcissistic traits often stem from early experiences of excessive praise or negligence. Children who are constantly praised for their achievements without being taught empathy or accountability may develop an inflated sense of self-importance. On the other hand, children who are neglected or criticized may develop narcissistic tendencies as a coping mechanism to shield themselves from feelings that hurt them and they haven't been able to process because they were taught to reject or repress them. And this is because their parents didn't know how to deal with them, so they kept passing this information one to another. In order to avoid the first thing that I just mentioned it's very important that when your kid does something right, you never make them believe that they're better because they achieved something. They need to know that in their core essence, they're always good human beings and they're always growing. And when they achieve success, that's good, but that doesn't give them more worthiness or more importance. Once they understand that their worthiness and their value comes because they exist, they won't be growing this egocentric self that makes them feel more important the more they achieve or the more they gain. I made a video about why you should never use the word more in your kids' language, and it's super important. If you're interested, go check out the video. And anyway, with the second one, it's when they try to repress or suppress their feelings. Every time you tell your kid not to feel a certain way, not to cry, or when they're feeling sad and you just try to cheer them up, it's like, oh, let's go do something so you feel happier. Right there, you are creating a little bit of a possible narcissistic person in the future. What we need to give our kids are the tools to feel all their feelings, to learn to be okay in the discomfort of feelings that hurt us. This also will help them to never be people pleasers, because the only reason people can't say no is because they never got taught how to feel okay in the discomfort of saying no to someone and putting a boundary. So with these two things, you can make sure that your children are being raised in an environment of self-love. Identifying narcissistic traits. Narcissistic individuals often exhibit a grandiose sense of self-importance, a constant need for admiration, and a lack of empathy toward others. They might manipulate or exploit others to meet their needs, prioritize their own desires above all else, and struggle with criticism. It's important to recognize that narcissists exist on a spectrum, ranging from healthy self-confidence to pathological narcissism. This is how you can overcome narcissism through inward work. The journey towards overcoming narcissism begins with self-awareness and introspection. By acknowledging and examining our own narcissistic tendencies, we can begin to unveil the roots and understand how they impact our lives and relationships. Inward parenting offers a powerful framework for reprogramming ourselves and cultivating healthier patterns of behavior. By reconnecting with our own inner child and addressing unsolved emotions wounds, we can break free from the cycle of narcissists and foster a genuine empathic and compassion towards ourselves and others. Through practices such as mindfulness, self-reflection, and emotional regulation, we can gradually transform our relationships with ourselves and others, shifting from self-centered to a deeper connection with the world around us. I'm going to tell you how I did it, how I was able to reconnect inwards and became the greatest version of myself. I'm still trying, but trust me, if you would have seen the mom I was 4 years ago and the mom today, you would not believe it. We all want to be the greatest parents, but if we don't recognize that we have to reprogram the programming we were given when we were children, it will be almost impossible to be the greatest version of you to your children. So what I did, it's that my kids, the behaviors that my kids had that irritated me, as an opportunity of understanding that I was never taught how to deal with them, and therefore they were lacking in me. So I started working them on me. I will tell you, my whole motherhood, my greatest desire and aspiration was to be a more patient mom. I really wanted to be patient with my kids. I had all the theory and I knew it was ridiculous to not be patient with your kids when they're just kids. But still, I was so triggered for some things they did. what I did, it's like, how am I going to give my kids something that I don't have within? So I started giving myself patient. I started being patient with myself for everything I did. Every time I made a mistake, I hugged myself and told myself, it's okay, we're gonna get through this. Every time I got irritated or frustrated, I gave patience to myself. Was it easy? No, at the beginning it was so hard. But after 21 days, you truly reprogram yourself, and the more you do it, the easier it is. Now the theory becomes an inward program that now you will be able to give to your children. The other one was to actually spend quality time with my kids. I love being with them, but like, it was so hard being present. My mind was always in the past or in the future. And while I was present physically with them, I was not present emotionally, like enjoying everything they were doing. So I realized the same. I was doing this because I was lacking the ability of being present with my own self. So I started doing mindful thinking and meditation. Meditation is so easy. There's different types of meditation, but what I did that worked for me was to just spend 5 minutes every day just sitting there and just pretending that I myself went in the back of my head and sat on a throne, and I was sitting in the middle of a TV that was 360 degrees, and I was just observing every feeling and every thought that passed by. The more I started doing this, I became that I was only the observer of all these thoughts, but they did not belong to me. It's like almost like if our brains, it's connected to a wire of like the internet, but in our own heads, where many thoughts start driving by and passing by, but they really don't belong to us. So when you become the observant of it, you start being more mindful and present in the here and now. And that's what I did. Then I started enjoying every second of just doing nothing other than observing what my kids were doing, merging with their feelings, and finally I could start being a present mother. And not only for my kids, but for everything I did in life. Pretty much thinking about the past or thinking about your future, it's something I no longer do, because I come to the realization that they do not exist. Both of them are happening in the now. The only thing we have, it's the now. If you think about the past, everything that happened in the past, you can only remember it or feel it if you bring it to your now moment. Everything in the future doesn't exist, but everything in the now moment, it's setting you to experience that it's in the future in the now. Okay, and now going back to another 2 techniques or exercise that you can start doing to reconnect with your inner child and start healing. The first one is that you can either grab a picture of you when you were a kid, or simply close your eyes and imagine yourself being 5 years old, and picture yourself going on your knees and hugging yourself, and just start experiencing what it feels to be with your past selves, the feelings that it's giving you of lack or things that it needed to hear that it never heard, and tell inner child that now you made it. You guys are grown-ups and you're ready to part your own past version of yourself. Tell this child that it's magnificent, that it's so lovable, and if in the past anyone made him or her feel other than this, you're ready to show her how. Tell your inner child that now you're ready to give her all the things that she was lacking as a child, all the things that grown-ups couldn't give her or him, and that you're ready to love her and show her how unconditionally loved and perfect she is, and that we're going to keep growing and learning together. And in the comment, I will leave you 2 exercises that you can do to reconnect with your inner child. Bye!